Welcome back to the ABL review. We're here for season 21 of the South Division, week 6. We've got the full slate of games. Let's hop into them. So, just a reminder that this season, the South is going to be a little bit longer. The regular season is going to be a little bit longer than the North. So when we go over the schedule, we'll see that they got about 3 weeks left until playoffs. The North's only got 1 after this. So, here we go. We're going to reframe it. We're going to remember. Okay, so we've got Connor taking on Zane. And this gets off to a rough start here. Not too rough a start from Connor. Gets knocked off. It's not ideal, but he does get off a burn, so that, should balance that out a little bit. But this Ogerpon Cornerstone is going to Swords Dance up, and it's just as threatening as it was on turn 1. Ivy Cudgel is going to be able to pick up the KO there. Spite Ops is going to come out. Thankfully, Liv, because of its Focus Sash, and it wants to get this set up Pokemon out of here, so its Circle throws out. But that brings out Hoopla. It's funny. This is where the game really starts to fall apart. So, he's obviously, I think sacking the Spite Ops is probably a good call there, because you don't really have anything that wants to switch into Hoopa, and it's pretty much done its job now, right? The problem is, he hasn't learned anything about this Hoopa. I think he would have been better off if he played a little bit safer around it, because we see the Gengar come out and immediately go down to the Shadow Ball there. Just wasted a whole Pokemon, unfortunately. Gliscor is going to come out, and that is going to force in the Iron Treads. Kind of a bold move, I think, to go for Toxic Spikes, because that Hoopa would have 2-hit KO'd this Gliscor, no doubt about it. And now Connor's going to do something that I've seen a lot of people do, I feel like, and I don't understand why. He's going to stay in on this Iron Treads as he eats an Ice Spinner. Ice Spinner is a much more common move than I think people give it credit for. This he should have seen coming. This I feel like seals his fate, because he's got nothing else here. He does go for the Earthquake, not enough. Wasn't going to pick up the KO. And at this point, look at what's left. He's got this. Treads has the matchup. You see it coming. He's just gonna try to get a little bit of health back with the Gliscor, but it's really not worth it. Ice Spinner into Iron Head is gonna kill the Baxcalibur. Gliscor is gonna protect, but we saw that Ice Spinner before did 90-something%. He's never gonna get all the way back up. Volcanity's gonna come out and die to a single Earthquake. So easy 6-0 win for Zane. Congratulations on the 6-0. I don't know if he's had a 6-0 before. But he gets one here. That puts him in it's a good thing to have going into playoffs, because it could potentially come down to some Peru tiebreakers, and we might see that shake out here. So moving on to the next battle, we've got Darren taking on Zhang. Darren has been one of the most consistent players in the South over the 3 seasons that we've had the South. Just 2. This is the 3rd season, but he's been one of the more consistent players, and Zhang's been one of the most dangerous players. I don't remember if they played in season 18 in the same division, but I feel like these two are starting to be tied together, just in terms of the quality of matches when they face. So let's hop into this here. Got Dragapult versus Ogerpon here. Subs to just kind of scout out what Ogerpon wants to do. Doesn't appear to have knockoff, or else he would have went for it. Unfortunate crit there, but it probably doesn't matter in the long run. But the +1 DD is going to be able to KO the Ogerpon. That's awesome to get that for Darren to get that out of the way here. Could have been a big threat to his team. We'll move forward from there. Dragon Dart's not able to pick up the KO on the Scyther. Dual Wing Beat's going to pick up the KO, so that crit didn't really matter on the Ogerpon, unless it could have changed how Darren planned on playing the Dragapult later. I do think he probably should have played against this Scyther a little bit differently. I think he would have liked having that Dragapult around later on in the game. We'll see why. Darren picks up the KO on the Scyther with the E-Speed. Takes an early 5-2 lead. Looking pretty good, but he is going to have some speed issues. Looking at what's left on his team, this Arcanine's the fastest thing left on the team, and he doesn't have a great type matchup here. So we're going to see the Protect from the Combustion, going to start getting that speed boost. Think he's going to try to Baton Pass it. Doesn't choose to do it here. Going to go hard into the Iron Boulder. Going to be able to absorb that Extreme Speed as Swords Dance comes out. Now, This is something I could definitely be accused of, like making a mistake with. I think Darren makes a mistake. I think I've made this same mistake here, because he's gonna go for. Well, you see this Mighty Cleave isn't able to take it out. He's gonna go for the Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp is only a little bit more accurate than Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump, for whatever reason, is 80 accuracy. I feel like that's unnecessarily low when stuff like Fire Blast, which I think you'd see as the equivalent, is both more accurate and it has a 30% chance at a secondary effect. Just saying. But anyways, back to my point here. Should have gone for the Hydro Pump here. Should have gone for damage, really. Even if he goes for Thunderbolt, it probably puts it down at a much lower range. Even like so that way something can pick it off. This is I don't like this play from him here, and it really does set him back because we see him make some other kind of wonky plays the next couple turns. Brings out Ting Lu, able to chew up the Mighty Cleave, get a little bit of burn damage on that. I don't know what else this Ting Lu had, but the fact that he goes here, the crit's a little unfortunate, but goes for Body Slam. That can't be your only damaging move, right? Like that seems crazy to me if that was his only damaging move, because we don't even see leftovers come out here. This might be Assault Vest. It's got to have Earthquake or Throat Chop or something else. Even Ruination would have been better off than Body Slam. I think at this point Darren might be over predicting, thinking he's forcing switches. And I think after that first turn on that might have been what happened with the Will-O-Wisp. Like, oh, it's pretty clear that I'm going to be going for a Hydro Pump. He's going to go out into Hisuian Samurott to take the Hydro Pump a little bit better. Let me gain some momentum and go for Will-O-Wisp. That could have been the thought process there. And after you come in here, maybe you think the same thing. Like, okay, he's going to predict me to go for a Dark move. He's going to go into his Dark-type Pokemon. Let me Body Slam the incoming Hisuian Samurott, try to get the paralysis. That could have been what was happening, but I feel like Zeng already told you a couple turns ago, like, hey, I'm set up, I'm committed. And that's what Zeng's team is. It's set up. Something he's got to be aware of should they face in the playoffs. Then he's going to go to Clefable here, soak up that close combat, burn a little bit more. Also, I just want to say, I think Darren picked up on the fact that Zeng's whole team is setup spam, and that's why that close combat did so little. Granted, it's a burned, resisted hit on a Clefable, but I think these question marks here are saying, which ability am I? Because I think that all the time when I'm facing Clefables. Is this unaware? Is this Magic Guard? I think this is unaware. I think that was a half-power close combat. So we're going to see Ting Lu then switch back in, able to shoot up the Mighty Cleave. Now he's just like burning, like, he's just getting burn damage. That's all he's doing here, so that way Hisuian Arcanine can come in and pick up the KO with extreme speed. Not the way you wanted to do it. You burned Ting Lu, which should have been a better check for some other things down the line here. Also crazy to see that his switch into Iron Crown is Clefable. Obviously, like we established, we're gonna see it later too. This is like Spadef unaware Clefable, but like I don't think knockoff was the play, seeing as how we've seen what Zeng does with his Iron Crown in the past. Iron Crown's going to be able to just pick up a ton of KOs here. We've seen him do this all the time. Crunched isn't able to fully get the job done there. And Clefable's going to come out, be able to live that stored power because, like I said, it's ignoring this +3 special attack because it's unaware. And we're going to see him drop the Thunderbolt, finally pick up the KO, but it's too little too late. We got a nice safe Aqua Cutter come out from Hisuian Samurott and picks up the win there. This is a game that I think Darren will learn from should these two face come playoff time. But Zeng has clearly identified this is how my team's going to work. I'm going to do it. It's up to you to stop it. I really liked it. There's no tricks with Zeng's team. He's not out there trying to play people in terms of like, hey, what am I going to do? Who's to say? My volume, it looks like my mic's a little hot here. I'm going to move it down just a touch. And people just have to kind of play against it and figure it out. So I got to give him a lot of credit for that. I like what he's doing. But I just think somebody's going to come along, know his game, and get him. But also, Zen can play kind of tricky, so he could switch it up, especially when with playoff push down the line here. After that, we've got Mitch taking on Mike. So, yeah, look at all these monsters Mitch has on his team. These are all scary guys. But let's get into it. There's some mistakes to discuss in this one. So we get the Sneasler versus the Whimsicott. Fake out first. I like that play. Tailwind, U-turn. This is, again, so many people I think are over-predicting. Especially you've shown off that this Sneasler is not... you showed off that the Sneasler is not choiced. By going for fake out, you showed off it wasn't choiced. If you're worried about the Heat Train coming in on your poison jab, that's fine, because you faster than you can U-turn out right afterwards, or you can go ahead and close combat it. I think you just gotta take KOs when people give them to you. I think he was willing to stay in with the Whimsicott on the first turn. You might as well try to get that poison jab off on this turn. He showed that he doesn't care about this Whimsicott. You got to take it. Then we're going to get a hard switch into Galvantula to set up the sticky web. Or not a hard switch. That was the U-turn switch into Galvantula as sticky web comes up. Sunny Day goes up also. That one's kind of a weird one to me, but we'll kind of explore a little bit more down the line why that might have happened. So we're going to get the U-turn out. Rocky helmet damage, chipping away that Whimsicott now. Ogerpon's going to come in, knock off. It's interesting that the switch into Ogerpon, a water and grass type, is Colossal. Maybe you're just fishing for flame body burns here. But I think you needed to have a better game plan for Ogerpon Wellspring. Let's just real quick peek over at his team. Yeah, you can see it. You can see his team here. I'm not going to reframe. But like Bisharp might not have been a bad answer for it. He doesn't have a good Ogerpon answer. But Colossal definitely isn't it, because you can't eat, because Ivy Cudgel is not contact, so you can't even burn on the Ivy Cudgel. It's definitely going to come out here, even in the sun. It's going to be able to KO that Colossal. Galvantula is going to come out, is able to outspeed because of the sticky web drop, and get that KO with Bug Buzz. So yeah, there's that. Torn's going to come out and go for the Hurricane. Pretty safe play going into the Slowking there. I like it. Also getting some chip with the Rocky helmet. Chilly Reception out. I figured you would have seen the Beartic come out. We've seen the combination of Slowking Beartic has been working really well in the north for Brett. This, I think, would have been the time that you'd want to come in and see it. Snow is set up. This Whimsicott would then have to choose whether or not it's going to go for Tailwind or set up the Hail. I don't like Lando coming in here. It doesn't make any sense to me. Other than just to get up rocks, because now this Whimsicott was able to accomplish two things it wanted to do, setting up the Sun and the Tailwind. And yeah, you got up rocks, but I think that this is a net negative. Gudra's going to come out. Slower because of the sticky web, faster because of the Tailwind, and even then, so it's basically a +1 Gudra, but it's outsped because, -1 from this, +2 from the Tailwind. Still not able to outspeed Lando. So this is a max speed Lando, min speed Gudra, and able to clean up with the Ice Beam there. See the fake out, be able to get that KO. That's good, but also gooey. So now here's an interesting thing. Tailwind's still up a turn. Let's let this Heat Train hit the ground. So -1, +2 because of the Tailwind. This is -1. So, maybe not. Maybe I goofed, okay? I remember thinking when I was watching this, oh man, this must be Scarf Heat Train, but it's obviously not. It's just +1 because of the... but this is also offensive Heat Train, because otherwise it wouldn't have been able to outspeed there. Tailwind's going to go away. Oh, maybe Specs or some shit. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So because we see the Future Sight come up, again, he gave you this KO. You got to take it. Because at this point, so let's break this down. Let's go back a turn. So this was brought in the Okay, let's slow it down. Go to normal. So take that first flamethrower to 33%. You're not living another one. You know that, okay? You knew it on. You could have. Maybe you could have calced. I don't know. Future sight goes up. Now I think the late game plan here was to sweep with bear tick, right? You got to get off a chilly reception, sweep with the bear tick. After getting the future sight up, I probably would have just thrown off a scald if you had it, or even chilly receptioned out there because I think you're set up already. Maybe you weren't expecting that flamethrower to do as much. That's fine. I guess I get that. On this next turn here, you let this go down. I don't think that's the play because I don't think Galvantula should have factored into the end game here. I think you should probably sack Galvantula, get the regen, and then come back in and chilly reception with Slow King and start going to town there with bear tick. I think that's what you got to do at this point. And he ends up not doing that. He's just going to try to raw dog it with bear tick here. Close combat's not able to get the KO, and he gets the flame body, which does suck, which all the more reason that you kind of needed. The crit didn't matter. All the more reason you needed to be able to get off the a scald or something, some damage on the heat train here. And here late in the game, Mike's just he's got to lock himself into something because I think this is Specs Galvantula. He needs a lot of hurricane dodges to be able to come through and pick up a win here because I don't think, even if he dodged every hurricane, don't know if he could really do much, if anything, to Ursaluna Blood Moon. Mitch is going to be able to take the win here. I don't think Mitch played badly by any means. I think all of his stuff in place were solid, but Mike played himself out of position in this one and really put himself on the back foot. And we'll see how much that hurts him down the line here because we're getting into that final playoff push. Hold on. Just hang out here we're going to sit here and chat. Again, not stalling. I never stall during these. This is all planned out stuff I'm going to talk about. How's your day? How's everything going? Thank you for listening. And now we're going to talk about the marquee match of the week.
Marquee match of the week. Now we have a theme.
I don't know how loud that came through because I didn't adjust the volume or anything. But, yeah, so now we're going to talk about, I'm going to say, the most controversial match of the week. We've got Tyler versus Papcoon. A lot of you are like, hey, I remember seeing that match. I don't remember anything controversial happening. Let's just watch what happens turn one, and we'll see. So we got Squirt versus RC Cola. Pap's been doing soda brands all season, and now Tyler comes in here, and he decides he's going to do soda brands. Copyright infringement to the highest degree. I can't believe this. Clearly throws Papcoon off of his game. So, let's hop into it here. Obviously, not a ideal start for Tyler in terms of these leads. He's going to switch right out into the Altaria there. Will-O-Wisp comes out onto the Primarina, forcing the Altaria out. We got a flip turn. See, Papcoon is predicting here, but it's still early on. I don't think there's any downside in predicting there. I don't think he's in the reason I'm calling it out is because I've said in the past couple games, just take KOs where people give them to you. Nobody's giving him KO here, so he can flip turn here, gain some momentum. Crocodile comes in. This time he predicts a little bit and he knocks off the Mudsdale. I'm starting to think this is a choice Crocodile. Stealth Rocks go up there. And he just goes ahead and picks up the Surf. Mountain Dew, Voltage, Primarina comes in, picks up the Surf KO over Root Beer. He just gave it to him. He could have overpredicted there, and he didn't. So I'm going to give him credit there. Make It Rain's going to come out, not do a ton of damage, and Surf's going to do a pretty good chunk. We're going to see the Raikou switch in, have to take... Oh, no, we got a double switch there. I'm actually surprised to see the double switch because this next Make It Rain would have done even less. I think you could have gotten off a bit more damage, but not bad to get this switch. And actually, this ends up being a Scarf Crocodile, and the crit may have mattered there. Obviously, this Raikou doesn't have any boosting items. It's not super strong. Crocodile's got decent bulk. I think the crit might have mattered on the Scald here. So who's to say? But, it's already over. It happened. Moving on. So Galarian Slowking's going to come in here. Let's see what he does. I don't remember. Just going to get a Volt Switch out here. Into the Flash Fire. Yeah, that's a big one. So we get the Flash Fire, gets blocked by Houndoom here. That's a big play. I guess he was predicting the Golden Go to come in on a Poison Psychic type. Not a bad prediction by any means. But, you got to know the risks. And that's the thing. Houndoom's going to be able to come in and block that. That's bad news here because we're going to see Primarina come in, take rocks damage. Now we got this Terra Fire, Flash Fire boosted Flamethrower. This is going to do a lot of damage. I don't think we know what item this Houndoom is yet. This could be choice specs for all we know. This is doing double damage already. Altaria is going to come out. High Jump Kick, going to do a decent chunk to it. Cinderace is going to take this opportunity to court change. I don't know if that was the play from Papcoon. He's already seen Will-O-Wisp come out. Maybe he forgot about the fact that he's not a fire type anymore. But also that this is a flying type. That's another thing. Oh, never mind. I was thinking that he showed that this is a defogger or something. Which I guess he didn't. I'm thinking of a different game then. So I don't know if that was the time to do that. Plus, Rocks isn't super bad for your team. Gonna see U-turn, just get a little bit of chip damage as Rodent Frost is gonna come in. There's the defog I was thinking of. Thunder Wave's gonna come out. Again, Papcoon is Thunder Waving a so here's the plays that you could see happening here. You could totally see Houndoom coming in. But also it's just, I feel like it's too big of a loss to go for Thunder Wave if Altaria were to stay in, because this is Cloud 9. So it blocks it. Thunder Wave's kind of a bad play here because it doesn't make sense for a Chaladon to come in case you go for Blizzard. Makes some sense for Houndoom to come in. But it doesn't make sense for Raikou to come in. And even if it did, it doesn't care about Thunder Wave. Even if Golden Go comes in, doesn't care about Thunder Wave because it's good as gold. This is Natural Cure, so doesn't care about your Thunder Wave. I don't like that play by Papcoon is what I'm saying there. He's going to eat a Dragon Pulse. This is the time where Papcoon should have been like, oh, he doesn't care about this thing. Let me fire off a Blizzard. And he didn't. He could have gotten rid of this Altaria and, gained a Pokemon, essentially. Going to take a little bit of damage on the Galarian Slowking, and then we're going to get this thing burned. We're going to Chilly Reception back into the Rodent Frost. Gets a little bit of HP back with leftovers, I guess, and finally gets the Blizzard KO. So, kind of a long setup for he could have just gone to hit a Blizzard. I don't know. I don't like that series of plays. I guess it's probably not too damaging, and it sets him up better in the future. But I would have liked to see him not play that so tentatively. Aura Sphere is going to come out, not do enough to the Rodent Frost to kill it. He's going to be able to get another KO here. Houndoom's going to come out. Now at this point, yeah, that's definitely Specs Houndoom, right? Now at this point, Papcoon's not set up in a good spot to be able to deal with his Houndoom. He's got this burned Cinderace. He's got Corviknight, which will go down. Rodent Frost, which will go down. And the Galarian Slowking, which we haven't seen if it's even got any moves to deal with this. So he's just going to get off as much damage as he can. Go for that high jump kick. Does a pretty good amount of damage despite being burned. And then we're going to see the Galarian Slowking come in, take a lot of damage, and able to KO with the Sludge Wave. So that's good. Just looking at what's left, the Corviknight maybe has a move that could end up dealing with Golden Go, but he's going to have a hard time dealing with that Archaladon. He's still in a tight spot here. Yeah, I think the Corviknight coming in here, wow, that's a lot of damage. Maybe this is also Specs. Ends up picking up the 2 at KO. Thunderbolt's not able to KO the Golden Go, as the Golden Go is just going to be able to sweep the Shadow Ball here. So this Choice Specs Golden Go comes in late in the game, cleans up for Tyler here. Yeah, I think that's definitely where the crit, or the Crocodile crit Scald, because I think it would have lived. And even if it got burned on that, it would be so good here late game because, it showed off Intimidate. But, just Earthquaking late game would have been huge for him. So, unfortunate for Papcoon, clearly thrown off his game because of all the soda names. I think that was probably it. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the South. Let's take a look at the standings. Because, as usual in the South, it's a pretty tight race. Mike, Papkin, Mitch have all kind of fallen behind a bit. But still, 6th place Connor, 1st place Zheng. 1 win separates them. I think Zane... so Connor hasn't had his bye week yet, so he's actually might fall a little bit behind here, depending on how things go. But really important, the last couple weeks of the season here. Let's take a look at the schedule. So we've got Mitch versus Darren. They're both in the playoff hunt big time. Let's take a look at where exactly they... Oh, no, Mitch is not in the playoff hunt. My bad. So Darren is right on the cusp here. He really needs a big win to try to keep him safely in that top 4. Mike versus Michael. Michael's not out of the playoff hunt by any means, but he also would really love to pick up a win here and stay a little bit safer. Seeing as how Darren's taking on one of these, 1-win teams, he also wants to get a win here to, try to move him up a little bit. Because these two teams also haven't played yet. That could be a very important game down the stretch. When did they play? Last week of the season? No? Did they already play? And I'm just missing it on this. Oh no, I guess Darren has the tiebreaker. So Michael needs a little bit of help there to try to break through. Potentially, we'll see how things go with the rest because there's still a lot of time left. Like 3 weeks is a lot of time. Got Papkun versus Zheng. Papkun also fallen behind, but I feel this feels like a spoilery game to me, where Papkun's just gonna really throw Zheng off of his game somehow and surprise him. I don't know. Maybe it's just the rooting for an underdog thing. Tyler and Zane both currently in the playoff hunt right now. Could be a big game. We're really looking forward to this. And then Connor's going to be on the bye week. We just talked about how he hadn't had a bye week yet. Here it is. Yeah. Also, let's hop over to the MVP tab here because big thanks to Zane. Or not Zane. Zheng. Also, thanks to Zane, just hanging out. Big thanks to Zheng. He's gone through and put in all the stats. I've fallen really far behind these past couple weeks. Really busy time at work. Just haven't been able to keep up with stuff. So I really appreciate him doing that. See Iron Crown absolutely crushing in terms of KOs here. Golden Goat also having an awesome week. Getting a lot of KOs. Let's see. Most attacks dealt. Melodic putting in the work. Just one of those. Only 2 appearances, firing off 34 attacks. That's freaking crazy. The next highest two appearance Pokemon in terms of firing off attacks is Houndoom at 13. Melodic has 11 more attacks than the next closest Pokemon, and it's been to 3 less games. That's a crazy stat. Most hits taking at Clodsire, just soaking stuff up. We tend to see we got the Mudsdales, the Southside Squirtles, and Texarkana hanging out in here. Sometimes the teams that are really struggling to get by end up having Pokemon that just take a lot of hits, just soak stuff up, which I think that's kind of an indicator because it loses momentum. That seems to happen sometimes. But yeah, I just big shout out, thanks to Zheng for putting all that together. And there was some. I think there were some ad drops. Yeah. So we had the Santa Fe Suicune on their bye week, making some changes. Oh, I didn't reframe shit. You guys get the point though. God damn it, I'm dumb. Santa Fe Suicune made some changes. So they dropped Glamora and Umbreon and Calyrex to pick up Tinkaton and Iron Moth and Iron Jugulus. Sorry. No. Oh, and they also dropped a Namorous T. They made 3 ad drops. Glamora, Umbreon, Calyrex, Tinkaton to pick up Jugulus, Moth, and Tink. You get the idea. It made big changes, okay? Iron Moth, Iron Jugulus, Tinkaton now in the mix. Iron Moth, we've seen, has been kind of a premier special attacker in the league since it came in. Iron Jugulus is going to live and die on those Hurricanes. I don't really know how that's going to work out with this team. Tinkaton has been just a solid, bit player for everybody. Really loving Tinkaton on this team. Really just kind of rounding out this team a little bit. Finally getting rid of that Calyrex, which is a bad Pokemon. Couldn't quite pull off the fusion dance with Glastrier to get Calyrex Glastrier. What's that called? Calyrex, not Shadow Rider, that's the other one. Frosty Rider. What's it called? I don't know. It's not important. Yeah. So I think those are the only ad drops that happened. Obviously, some people tweaked their teams. Just a reminder that let's head back over the schedule. Jeez, yeah, this was not framed up in any sort of helpful way. God damn. Trade deadline's coming up. So you can still make ad drops after the trade deadline. But when I ask for ad drops next week, if you want to make a trade with another team, this is the last week to do it. Because at this point, teams are going to be locked out of playoff contention. Actually, some teams might already be locked out of playoff contention. But that's kind of definitive there. We want to lock it off after that to keep people from selling stuff when they're just like kind of tanking. And then after that, we're going to have the ad drop deadline going into this final week here. You're still going to be able to make Terra changes in playoffs. So keep that in mind. But yeah, thanks everyone for getting all your games done. Thank you, Zhang, for everything he did. And again, I kind of got away from doing it, but thank you for Brett for, basically keeping all these, setting us up for success here. That Zhang was just able to step in and have a doc that worked really well to make everything happen. So thank you everyone. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.